I have not heard personally your opinion on Harry and Meghan wanting titles for the children. Are you shocked? Are you not shocked? What is your feeling about this? Because it's the biggest display of hypocrisy we've seen yet, as far as I'm concerned.
I have to say that, am I surprised? Not in the slightest. Any opportunity they've got to monetize their children, of course that they will. I mean, I'm surprised that they've not got them modelling for a Walmart catalogue. So from that respect, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Do I think they're hypocrites? Of course they are. Why on earth would they want to accept such titles from such an awful, dodgy, racist, imperial-connected institution? Because, of course, let's not forget that Edward and Sophie, Anne and Mark Phillips, her husband at the time, they didn't have titles for their children. They chose not to have titles for their children. So there is precedent for them to have been able to have said, no, we don't want these, but absolutely not, because it's all money in the bank. It's all money in the bank to them. So, of course, they were going to accept those titles for their children. They probably have the letterheads and the paper all printed up weeks ago, to be honest.
Well, and they did originally say that they did not want titles for their children. I don't know if you remember Omid Scobie tweeting after Archie was born that he wasn't surprised. As we expected, Harry and Meghan have decided against titles for Archie, for their children. They don't think that it's necessary or something to that effect.
And they didn't. I mean, this absolutely is once again yet another one of their stories which has been contradicted, because didn't they imply or more or less outright say...
Remember in Spare, your Bible,
yes,
Harry goes into a diatribe about titles.
Yeah, and also in Oprah. I mean, in the Oprah interview, Meghan says that Archie wasn't given a title because of his... and you are left with the feeling, it is heavily implied it's because of his mixed-race heritage, and it wasn't that at all. It was because at the time he was the great-grandson of the monarch, and as great-grandson, the letters patent doesn't mean that you automatically get the title. You get the option for the title when you are the grandchild of the monarch, which of course they are now. So it was nothing to do with racism, and of course that has further been disproven by the fact that now they are able to be prince and princess. So it's yet another Oprah interview fact, in inverted commas, that has once again been completely busted.
And it infuriates me that their statement just says that it's their birthright, and they don't acknowledge that they lied in the Oprah Winfrey interview. When you say that a title is withheld from your child because of his skin tone, you're calling someone a racist. Internationally, you're telling the entire world that a racist decision was made against your child. So the fact that they didn't acknowledge their mistake, and they just use words like, they just use words like birthright, that absolutely infuriates me. They're insufferable.
They're absolutely insufferable, and they don't tell the truth. They just simply do not tell the truth, because that was a really vile implication for something that was never their right. And I have to say, I think that Charles has played a blinder by allowing them by enforcing the fact that they can have these titles, because it's very, very subtly proven that in that interview with Oprah, they were talking absolute rubbish, rubbish.
What do you think about the people that are saying that this is an example of him being weak?
No, I don't. I think that maybe that he's being a bit more strategic than that, because what he could do is deny it, because that is his power. I mean, because, it's sort of a right that you have when you're grandchildren of the monarch, but he could say, well, actually, no, I'm blocking this, and that would play right into their hands of the narrative of racism. How could they possibly claim now, and how can that interview from Oprah possibly air now, where it is implied that there's racism that has stopped those children getting their titles, when Charles has said, well, no, now they're grandchildren of mine, of course they can. It's your decision to use those titles, but I've no problem with you using them. How can they accuse him of being racist after that, which was really the implied implication? It was actually an implied implication that the Queen was racist, actually, because it's within her jurisdiction to have given them those titles if they wanted, but it wasn't an automatic right, because letters patent says you've got to be the grandchild of the sovereign in order to get it. So it's a catalogue of lies that are being now exposed by events since that really damaging Oprah interview, and I'll never forgive them for the Queen having to witness all of that, because she was dying.
And Prince Philip was on, I mean, was he not on his deathbed?
Well,
during
they both
the
were.
Interview?
They both more or less were, and they are just vile. They really, really are. Okay. Can we just talk about another bit of Harry and Meghan hypocrisy? Oh, God, we could do the rest of the show on Harry and Meghan hypocrisy. Tell David Bull to come in an hour late, because I still can't get over. I was thinking about this when I was scrubbing my stairs yesterday. You know when you have to have a thought that annoys you when you're cleaning? It really helps you.
Or when you're on the elliptical, yes.
Yes, or when you're training and you're like, I hate that person, and this is what I'd say to them, and it really motivates you. Well, I was doing that while I was cleaning last night, and it really annoys me. I don't know why it popped into my head, but I'm still really annoyed by Harry backtracking on the Archie skin colour racism accusation on the Oprah interview, because, of course, his defence was, if you don't remember this story, if you're listening, there was obviously, it was heavily implied during the Oprah interview that a negative comment was made in relation to Archie's skin tone, which was construed to be racist. Now, when Tom Bradby interviewed Harry over the book Spare, and referenced these racism allegations, Harry said, no, we never said that there was racism in the royal family, which they didn't actually. And like, I really think, I don't know whether he's immensely clever or really quite thick to think that we don't know these things, because yes, you know, they never expressly said, I think the royal family is racist, but by discussing Archie's skin colour in a negative way and implying that's what happened, of course you're implying racism. Of course you are. Like, if I were to say, I'm sorry, I don't want someone on my show because I'm concerned about their skin colour, right? I'm not actually expressly saying I am being racist, but you know what? By my making that statement, that's racism. You don't need to actually say the words in order to have racism. Now, they've backtracked on that and said we weren't talking about racism, while simultaneously accepting an award for fighting racism. Well, if there was no racism, how can they accept an award for fighting the racism they're saying they never said existed?
Yes. No, I mean, that just goes hand in hand with Archie wasn't given a title because of his skin color, but now he's a prince. It just goes absolutely hand in hand with that. And I think that the Sussexes are really skilled in the art of trolling, I guess is a good way to describe it.
Gaslighting us.
Well, they're definitely gaslighting us, but what they do is they hint at things, they dance around things, and then they allow their friends like Tyler Perry to go on TV in front of millions of people and accuse the royal family of being physically and mentally abusive. So they don't say it, but they say just enough. Yeah, well, and then they allow
load the
other
gun.
people to say it.
They load the gun, and then others fire the bullets.
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
happens.